Okay, I've got these new LED lights to fit in my Fat Bob headlight canister, which is the and there's a problem. They've got grooves and stuff in the sides here, but there's no it doesn't seem to locate correctly in the lugs in here. So what's happening is when you put the cover on, this cover here, it actually sits kind of like not quite right. So normally when it's normal and when it's actually sitting properly, you should be able to, when you tip this up this way, you can see these little ridges here, and you can see that on this one here it's got a bit of a rust line, but you can see that this case sits over these lugs, and you can see it's actually got a lip on the inside of this in here. It just sits in there. It should actually just sit in and pull back so that when it sits in, it's nice and that you can't see those lugs. So I've tried to fit these, and it's sitting real weird. So when you bolt it up, it's almost like that. And you can see these ridges coming all the way out. It might be out that far. So what I need to do is I need to work out a template, and I haven't done this before. I'm actually just doing this now to figure it out. To first of all, you've got to figure out the orientation of the light, which way it's supposed to go. So I'll just get rid of this. Put this back into a better spot. So looking at this, I'd be guessing that the headlight will go up this way. So this is the bottom, obviously. This is the top, and there is a little line here, and it looks like it's got some locating things over here. Like it's got one on the side here, right there by the sticker, and that seems to line up. Not really line up. Oh yeah, it does. But what's happening is it's pushing the bottom out. So as you can see down here, it's actually sitting on top of that groove there, and there's also one just down through here, which you probably can't see. Yeah, there, just there by my finger, and it's sitting proud on those, and it should, I believe, be sitting down into that cavity so that it's even all the way around. So when you put the original lights in, you're getting, when these lights are sitting in place, they sit nice and smoothly, and there's not a lot of gap. There's actually 6.5 mil from the lip here to this seat, the top of the casing here. So that needs to be, they need to be sitting in there so that you can get this cover on. So currently it's not doing that, so I'm going to have to fix it. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure it out right now. But basically, that's pretty much, I think if you have the dot, there's a dot SAE here. So it sits nice at this top end here. It sits real nice in here. But then when you start coming round, it's sitting proud on this one, and it's also sitting proud on this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark these slots here. I'm going to measure the height now, and then I'm going to actually use a Dremel and cut a groove on the underside of this canister casing, so that they will sit down to the correct height. Because there's a lot of gap in through here. You can see a lot. So I'll just measure the distance. See, it sits nice in through here on the original headlights. I'm just going to measure the distance from this lip to the top. with my verniers. Roughly, so it's 10.5 mil. So I'm going to sit the other ones in here, get my other one in place, and I can just see that it's sitting up a lot higher than that. So we've got 10, and see that we've got a big gap there, and I've pushed it down, and that's actually 13.6. So it's actually 3 mil that it needs to come down, and that'll actually sit inside this lug in this one perfect once you've got that out of the way. So what I'm going to do, I'll just turn my verniers off. I'm just going to mark where this lug is, and I'm going to cut a groove with a Dremel 3 mil deep to get that to sit nice. You can see that, but I've marked it with a pencil right there. That's where I need to cut it out so that I can get it to sit down, because it's actually sitting on this lip here, just in here, that one there. So I don't need to take much out, I just need to get that out of the way pretty much, and that will sit nice. So I'm going to do that with a Dremel and machine this back, this section here. It doesn't have to come back much. Oh yeah, it does have to come back the depth of the depth of this here. So that'll go back to the outside of the casing, the outside of this casing here. So I'll just cut that back. Alright. Okay, so what I found is this lug here and this lug here were impacting on this light. So what I did was, where this lug, it's hard to do with one hand, where this lug here is, it was just touching this lip here, and this has got an alloy casing, so I've used my Dremel and I've basically Dremeled back about 3 mil off this this lip on the that used to come back over here, and this one over here I've basically grooved out a 3 mil hole so that it goes into this slot over here. And now when you sit it in there, once you've got your cabling all in, now once you locate it, it sits there nicely now. So now, oh hang on, that's it, like that. So now it actually sits flush onto the top of this lip, which is perfect, and it sits nicely in here. So when we get our caliper, it'll sit nice. And we've got about, oh hang on, we'll do it this way, about 6 mil. So it's about half a mil down further than it was, but that's okay, because that's exactly where it should be sitting, because it's even all the way around now, whereas before, I'll get the other one out. Oh, I can't. It was sitting way up before. But now that's going to sit nice once the case goes on, theoretically. Let's have a look and see, shall we? When that sits on there now, that's better. Yep. The case actually sits nicely now when you've got it sitting on there. Yeah, see? there's no, you can't see those grooves at the top, around the top of the chrome anymore, whereas before they were sitting way out here like this, way out like that. So that solves that problem, and they're sitting in there nicely now, so we should be pretty good. And I'll just do the same thing with this other one. I'll figure out where it's coming a cropper, and where it's binding it'll probably be the same lugs, but I'll just double check that before I start grinding anything. And then that should actually have these nicely located, and she'll be a beautiful thing. So I'll get the other one done now, and we'll catch up with you soon. So this one here, there's actually 2 lugs here at the base. Here's the bottom on the, what's the right hand side facing back, but it's actually the left headlight. So that's going to take about 10 mil to grind out of here, so I've marked those there. I've just got to take that small lip off there, and this one here I've marked up there. I've got to basically take just a little notch out of that, and that should be good. So I'm just going to put that on my Dremel and set it up with my Dremel here. Got my little steel tool, and I'll just fire that up. I'll grind that all the way back to there. I'll grind that along there, and I'll take that notch off that side. Okay, so I've just ground out this notch here and this notch over here. And we'll see if this sits in properly. And what do you know, it sits really nicely. So that's perfect now. That's sitting in there just right. And now we've just got to make sure the other headlight goes in with it. Get that to sit in. And that's it. Actually, there's a little bit of pressure there. I might just take a little nudge out of the center here, just off the edge, and we'll see how that goes. So I just took a little wee bit off with the linisher on both sides where these actually join. So this one here slots into that like that, and this one here slots in like that, and now they sit beautifully. Like there's no fighting now. They're actually sitting really, really nice. So I'm not going to have any problems now putting that back together. It's going to sit back nicely over the top of these little notches. So when you sit it on, it's going to sit in there nicely. And when you do it up, they're going to sit nice. So yeah, so that should actually look really good now. Yes, looks great. So that's it. Now I can put it back together on my bike. Lucky I had a spare set of cans so I could actually do this, so that's cool. Awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk soon. And this is the final product installed. As you can see, they're sitting nicely in here. None of those ridges are showing. Not loose. It's actually sitting in really nicely. And this is the finished product. come up really nice.